Hey there, how's it going? Today I'll be looking at how to detect any open source undeclared components in your code before it ever reaches your GitHub repository. To do this, I'll be using scanoss pre-commit hooks, and this is the repository right here. As you can see, the hook checks for potential undeclared open source software in the files being committed, and it's designed to run at the pre-commit, pre-push, and manual stages. Additionally, configuration can be provided via command line arguments, environment variables, or a .env file. I'll be showing you how to do this from VS Code, so let's get right into it. Once you have opened up your project in VS Code, open up the terminal and actually install pre-commit. The scanoss pre-commit hooks repository is actually built on top of the pre-commit hook framework. So just installing that is pip install pre-commit, and then you press enter. Give it a second and that should start downloading. Now that that's downloaded and installed, what you have to do is go to the root of your repository and create a file called pre-commit-config.yaml. Now what you have to do is actually take the snippet from the scanoss pre-commit hooks repo and paste it into this file. Just make sure you're actually referencing the latest version of the pre-commit hook, and then just save the file by pressing Ctrl+S. To make sure that your config file is set up correctly, what you can do is go into your terminal and type in pre-commit validate config, give it a second, and if there's no errors there, if nothing comes up, that means it's working perfectly. Now you can actually install the hook by typing in pre-commit install. Give it a second. Perfect. Optionally, you can configure your hook to use a .env file, which would then contain your scanoss key. Go into the scanoss pre-commit hook repo. You can check the values for this .env file and paste it in here, and just change them to your actual own API key. You can leave scanoss debug true or false in case if you want logging or not. Once that's complete, save the file and then create a .gitignore file, which actually mentions the .env. You don't want to be uploading the .env file to your GitHub repository as it contains API information. So then once you've created your gitignore file, to test the hook, you actually just have to stage the files. Git commit -m, I'm just going to call it test. Give it a second and let this load. Once this is done, as you see, scanoss detected two files containing potential open source software. The source/copyright and source/scanner. These are the two files in my source folder right here. You can see the status of them, the match type, the matched, their pearls, and the license type. Also, you can see a .scanoss folder with results.json. This file contains the scan results, and as you can see going through, you can actually find the snippet match percentage and the Perl URL where I actually got the code from. So this one right here, copyright.c, is from scanoss/engine. Then going further, as you can see right here, source/scanner_test, it matched it to scanoss.py. This is the file right here. This is the file hash, the file URL. Scrolling down, you can see the match percentage and the related pearls. You can also review your errors and warnings with the help of scanoss code compare, as it mentions in the terminal. Another important thing to mention is actually include the .scanoss folder in your gitignore file. In order to document and declare the open source software components that scanoss found using pre-commit hooks, what you have to do is actually create a scanoss.json file at the root of your repository and declare the pearls that are used within your project. Now I'm pasting mine in right here as I've already have this generated from the results.json file. At the top here, I'm just skipping a number of files, having the scans skip the read.md file and the pre-commit config. As they're configuration files, they don't need to be scanned. I'm making sure that it's scanning any .py file, any .c file, where each file is minimum 100 bytes. Now to declare the components, what you have to do is include them in this bomb section right here under the include heading. I've taken this Perl from the actual results.json. As you can see, I'm using scanoss/engine and scanoss.py. Now all you have to do is save this file again and stage your changes. Git commit -m test. Give this a second, let this run, and this just scans successfully without any undeclared components. Perfect. As you can see, the test passed, which means that all the components that are within this project were declared in the scanoss.json, and this is considered within the pre-commit hook. So that's pretty much it. That's how you use scanoss pre-commit hooks. Thanks again for sticking around, and I'll see you again later.